The redhead bard loved and hated by many, Ciaccona is back, and in this video, I will give you a complete guide which includes everything you need to know about her kit, builds, teams, rotations and more. Without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Starting with her kit, Ciaccona has a 4-hit basic attack combo. The stage 1 and 2 are never used cause they can be skipped, so only 3 and 4 matters. The stage 4 attack will be interrupted in our combos, notably by using jump, cause interrupting it activates a solo concept effect, giving her 24% arrow damage bonus. And why jump? Because after the jump, she can do a plunge attack skipping directly to her 4th attack. Now timing the cancel is really easy. Her 4th attack gives her a forte stack, so when you see the forte has filled, press jump, then attack twice to plunge down and do the 4th attack. Her resonance skill inflicts a stack of arrow illusion, and her basic attack combo starts from basic attack stage 2. She can hold up to 3 forte stacks gained from basic attack stage 4 and intro. When the forte is full, her heavy attack is enhanced, which pulls enemies, apply a stack of arrow illusion and deals good damage. The resonance liberation deals some nice damage and directly gives the 24% arrow damage bonus as mentioned earlier, and has 2 indicators, green and yellow. The green one applies arrow illusion and the yellow one applies spectrofrazzle, so she can apply either spectrofrazzle or arrow illusion with the liberation. You can switch to a different character and the liberation will continue. If you press the yellow circle before switching, she will continue to trigger it and apply spectrofrazzle. If you do nothing or press the green circle, she will apply arrow illusion. This occurs every 1.7 seconds and can trigger up to 20 times. It is mentioned here that every successful trigger gives 10 concerto energy. However, note that when Ciaccona automatically presses the circles from off field, she doesn't gain concerto energy. Only when you manually control her to press the circles, she will receive the energy. Another thing, what if you press the wrong button before switching? For example, if you are running a spectrofrazzle team but forget to press the yellow circle before switching, there's no way to fix it. If you switch back to Ciaccona, she will exit her resonance liberation state. So once you switch away, don't switch back. Her inherent skill gives a shield during liberation and a damage boost to Ciaccona's forte attack. And her outro skill amplifies arrow illusion damage by 100% for 30 seconds. For her talent priority, level her resonance liberation followed by her basic attacks, and forte, then resonance skill and intro skill. Now let's move on to her build. For her weapons, her signature weapon obviously is the best in slot. It increases attack by 12% and gives the wielder 24% arrow damage bonus on applying arrow erosion. It additionally reduces the arrow resistance of enemies by 10%, which is really great for arrow teams. The next weapon best for her own damage would be Carlotta's signature, the Last Dance. However, when used with an attack scaling DPS, I would recommend the standard banner weapon Static Mist over it, cause it can buff the next character. Also, most of the damage of Ciaccona comes from a forte heavy attack and a resonance liberation, so she does not benefit much from the passive of Last Dance, which makes Static Mist a better option overall. Even though it provides very slightly less damage than Last Dance, it increases the damage of the next character. Also gives energy regen, fulfilling energy requirements. For 4 stars, there aren't many options. You can use a relativistic jet, Romance in Farewell, Nova Burst or Pistol 26, which provides attack for more damage from Ciaccona. For her echoes, there are quite a few options that you can use on her. The first one is the Gusts of Welkin, which gives 15% arrow damage bonus to the whole team, and it is great for her own damage too, as it gives a tons of arrow damage bonus. The echo skill to pair with this, we have 2 options. One is Kelpie, which has slightly higher arrow buff and damage, and the other one is Fleur-de-Lis. Both are really close. My personal favorite is Kelpie, as the echo gets auto-casted with Ciaccona's outro. After using a liberation, you cannot use a skill, which sucks cause I always forget to use it before a liberation. The Fleur-de-Lis is good too, it doesn't have any echo cast animation, we just need to make sure that you have to use it before a liberation. I've talked a bit more about Kelpie vs Fleur-de-Lis in one of my old video, you can check it out. An alternative for this set is the Moonlit Clouds with Impermanence Heron Echo skill. This set gives more buffs than Curse of Welkin but leads to lower personal damage. It is very close and a better option for non-arrow teams. However, in Ciaccona's rotation, you need to use the Echo skill before casting a liberation, so do keep that in mind and plan to use the Heron skill ahead of time and swap cancel. And for DPS Ciaccona, the best set is the Windward Pilgrimage, as it provides crit rate and arrow damage, with either Kelpie Echo skill or Fleur-de-Lis, with Kelpie being negligibly better. Other options for DPS include the Gusts of Welkin or the Sierra Gale with Nightmare Failure and Berengal. For her energy requirements, her liberation cost is fortunately on the lower side of 125. Usually around 10 to 15% energy regen will be enough. For her echo stats, she follows a standard build, crit rate or damage on the 4 cost echo. Since she gets so much arrow damage bonus from her kit, both the double arrow damage or a combination of 1 attack and 1 arrow damage bonus will be pretty much similar. An attack percent on the 1 cost echo. For substats, get the required amount of ER followed by crit stats, attack percent and flat attack. Liberation damage and heavy attack damage are decent stats. For her team comps, Ciaccona, as we know, is undoubtedly the best in slot sub DPS for Karthethia due to her powerful buffs to arrow damage and arrow erosion. And the most important is the Aero Erosion application, which is much needed for Kartithia as the damage increases based on the number of Aero Erosion stacks. And the third slot for this team is Aero Rover unless you have H2 Kartithia, as the Aero Rover can increase the Aero Erosion stacks capacity and the Aero damage amplify buff from the weapon. If you have H2 Kartithia, you can replace the Rover with Shorekeeper. Aero Rover and Ciaccona, two of them are a really great pair as the Rover increases the stacks cap and gives Aero buffs, significantly boosting the Aero Erosion damage, and this duo can be slotted in other Aero DPS teams like Xian, Yuno or Alto, in which the Aero Rover being replaceable by sustain support like Shorekeeper or Varina. She can also be used in Spectre Fragile teams with Zani and Phoebe. Phoebe in Confession state is better for Zani, but Ciaccona with the Rover is viable if you don't have Phoebe. She is especially helpful for Phoebe in Whimpering Waste as her Liberation can apply Fragile on new waves of enemies, making her a better option than the Spectre Rover. For the last slot with Zani, I would recommend Spectre Rover as Ciaccona's Fragile application is not instant. Zani with Ciaccona and Rover allows her to do 3 Nightfall rotation, which is not achievable with Rover alone. And for Phoebe, you can also use a sustain support, a Spectre Rover, which I recommend as he provides a smoother rotation, applying 10 Fragile stacks for the Eternal Radiance buff. Since Ciaccona has really good damage multipliers for her DPS, and because she can apply so many Aero Erosion stacks and buff its damage, she is viable as a main DPS too. The best sub DPS with her is Sanwa, providing basic attack damage, attack buff from S6 and the Moonlit buff. But the main reason is her microscopic rotation. Although is another option that you can use, and for the last slot you can use Aero Rover, Shorekeeper or Varina. Moving on to her rotations. Start with her intro skill, then basic attack 3, 4, cancel the 4th attack with jump. As I mentioned earlier, when the 4th attack comes out, the forte gets filled. That's your indicator to press the jump. Then press her basic attacks to plunge down, use a normal attack to cast the stage 4 of basic attack and cancel it with skill. Then use her forte heavy attack into a liberation. Make sure to use her echo skill anytime before casting a liberation unless you are using the Kelpie as it gets auto triggered. Then outro. If you need Spectre Fragile application, make sure to press the yellow indicator before swapping out. If intro isn't available, start with jump, then plunge into basic attack 4, cancel with jump, into basic attack 4, cancel with jump again and do basic attack 4, then cancel with skill into heavy attack and liberation, with echo skill wherever appropriate. For the main DPS rotation, I use a skill and swap cancel while preparing the supports for some extra damage. This is optional. And after giving her all the buffs, use a forte heavy attack twice, liberation and outro. Moving on to her sequences. I won't dive too deep into them. Her sequences are of low priority, which means you can get close to her full potential even with S0. Most of them are focused towards increasing her damage, but the second one gives a team-wide aero buff. If you are someone who likes to pull for sequences, H2 is a good stopping point. You can check out the sequence for her personal damage calculations here. For her pull priority, just her weapon is enough for aero teams. Overall, Ciaccona is really an unique and great character as she can buff the team in multiple ways, from kit, weapon and echo set, also while dealing high personal damage. She can enable both Aero Erosion and Spectre Fragile teams, making her one of a kind, and she doesn't rely much on sequences. However, most of her pull value is solely locked behind one single character, which is Kartithia. If you don't have Kartithia, there's no reason to pull her. Even though she is viable in many different teams, there are better options. So unless you have Kartithia, I won't recommend you to pull her. And that's all for this video. Don't forget to join my Discord server to hang out with other WoWA players. Make sure to like and share the video and subscribe for more Wuthering Waves content. It would really help my channel if you could do so, and thanks for watching.